Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December Library Board meeting. Call to order at 5:30. Public appearances, none. Item number 3, approval of minutes. So may I have a motion to approve the November 2024 minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ann. Any discussion, corrections? Looks like none.
None.
All right. If nothing to discuss, all in favor of approving the November 24 minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Looks like we pass. Thank you, everyone. We lost Jim. Maybe not. It's okay. All right, item number 4, financial report. So may I have a motion to approve the September 2024 financial register and overview?
I have one question on the register of bills paid.
Okay.
It goes through a couple
Do we
of
need a
these.
motion
Yeah,
first?
we need a motion first.
What's going on with disability insurance?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Ann.
thank
All right,
you.
yeah, all right, yep.
Disability insurance, that's a good question. We have been on a premium holiday, I want to say for 6 years now. They have not been charging us premiums. I don't understand it. This all goes through HR, so it is on the up and up. It actually comes in handy because we are reassigning some of that money to cover one of the things that I wanted to point out in the register, which is in account 335, that replacement windshield for the van is going to be covered with money from the disability premiums that we're not paying, but we do budget for just in case. I feel like one of these years they're going to change their mind and turn it around. We're going to put the rest of it into utilities, which are going to be overspent by probably $14,000. I think running the old chiller 24/7 and not having solar was more of a problem than we expected. So that will be something, and I will be sending you a memo, I think, or we may have to do a budget amendment to move some money around for that.
Okay.
Let's see, what else did I don't think I had anything else on here that jumped out at me. Any questions in addition to John's? Pretty boring month. September was. Just never a bad thing.
So I'm sure you've answered this a dozen times now, but I'm going to ask, wages and salaries are much higher for September than
Yes,
most
so
months?
3 pay period month.
Okay, all right.
Yep, so as long as we end up at the end of the year, and it's, so it will all even out. But it's alarming to see it.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that, and
Yes,
I know I ask
yes.
it every 3 months.
I always
or whenever
have
this
to do a
happens.
minute of like, wait a minute, when did we get paid?
When I entered, I do the same thing, like, oh, wait a
That's
second.
not right.
Let me look back here.
Yep, you'll notice we have one in March too. So the rest
Yeah.
of the year should be fairly normal.
I figured.
Any other
Anything else?
questions? Okay.
All right. If nothing else, all in favor of approving the September 2024 financial register and overview, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Unfinished business, there is none. All right, so then we get to item number 6. So we'll start with the 2025 closure dates. So may I have a motion to approve the 2025 closure dates? I'll move.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go.
This is something that we do every year, just so that we can say to the public that the board has approved all of the days that were closed. This includes all of the paid holidays, 2 staff in services, another day, so Easter is not a paid holiday, but we are closed that day, and 2 days that we close early, so the day before Thanksgiving and on New Year's Eve, we close at 5. We match this City Hall closure calendar, except for they close at noon on New Year's Eve. We, every year, think about maybe matching that as well. Right now, we get that time, our staff get that time as a floating holiday. But it's at the end of the year, so we forget about it until it's too late. So that needs to, I think, go to the Personnel Committee of City Council. But I think we might try to make that change for 2026, just so you know that that is coming. But otherwise, this is fairly standard. We just want to make sure that everybody knows what's happening in the next year. Any questions?
So just to reiterate, there are no changes in the schedule from prior
No.
year. I was curious on the summer Sunday closure. Any feedback from the public on that one?
No. Like, I always expect that people are going to want us to be open those days, but it's really a homework day.
In summer, though? No.
Well, right. So during the school year, it's really what we see is a lot of people studying, and so in the summer, we don't really get a call for it. So.
Okay, good.
So, and I feel like with library scheduling, with staff scheduling, there's not a lot of perks to it with evenings and weekends. So I'm happy to leave that as it is.
Good.
Fairly standard also across other libraries. that are open on Sundays.
Good to know. I was just surprised that the public didn't care.
No.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah,
It's a good day to have off for the staff.
absolutely.
I guess that makes the statistics during the summer even more interesting. Do we
Yeah.
really correct for that we're actually only open 6 days? So like we have more participants during the summer, but
We do,
we're
and
actually
in
closed.
attendance, yeah. I think
Yeah.
now that we have the new people counting software, we'll see that even more.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really put that together. That when we look
Yep.
at those numbers, it's like, all right, usually
Yeah.
we do have a summer bump, but then
It is also interesting to think
bigger.
about when we are open on Sundays, we're only open for 4 hours. So we often do the same amount of circulation that we would do in a full day otherwise. So, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor of approving the 2025 closure dates, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. And on to our next item, the trustee application discussion.
So we don't need a motion for this. We're not going to vote on this. This is just for discussion.
Okay.
So I had sent out the 2 documents, so the trustee job description and the American Library Bill of Rights. I know we had a comment that the position description feels like full-time job, which I can't disagree with. It is a lot of information in there and a lot of duties. What I did find, and I'm sorry that I can't share this with everyone, but in the interim, what I have found, I'll pass it to the people that are in the room. Can you pass this over? And there's one more. Essentially, this is the position description, but it's boiled down to just the bullet points. So there are 7 different things. And this is also from the Department of Public Instruction. So the same people that are making the position description. This is sort of like the table of contents for it. So it just pulls out the main tasks. It doesn't give all of the details. I think it's a little less overwhelming, I guess. But I think it is a good description of what the duties are. I think this is going to be useful in 2 ways. So I think, first of all, I want to make sure that we're getting people that want to join the board because they believe in the freedom to read, not that they want to restrict it, and they think they can do that from this position. But I also think Sometimes people think that they're going to come on the library board and they're going to be really involved in like daily operations, which is not the case because of how the statutes are laid out. So this is kind of a good, like you're doing the finances, you're doing advocacy, you're hiring and supervising the director for sure, working with budgets and that kind of thing, advocating for the library. I think this might be plenty. I do think the Library Bill of Rights is a useful document. I get that it's full of jargon and maybe also feels like too much. And so maybe these are just documents, the 2 documents that I sent you, maybe those are just things that I share during orientation, at which point we may get a better feel for if somebody is here for the right reasons. But orientation is generally after someone is appointed. So why I wanted to have the discussion, I guess. I think if we do, and I had been thinking that we would have somebody sign this, and maybe that's not correct. Maybe when we get an application, we're considering someone for appointment, we send out just the bulleted list of expectations, activities, and maybe that's enough. I'd be interested in what you all think.
I do like the summary document, at least this version of it.
Yeah.
That makes it a little more digestible. And I think I agree that this would probably help because I know for myself, I was thinking I was going to come on and be like, oh, we're going to like sit there and like think through books and
Right.
Sessions to have at the library and stuff like
Right.
that. So that seems a little more
It gives you a better
setting expectations
Yeah.
of what the actual role is.
The only stumbling block for me is number 3 on what you just handed out.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to read it for you guys. It says, obtain adequate library funding and assist with the library budget. So we definitely assist with the library budget. But as far as obtain adequate library funding,
So we haven't had to in recent memory. So when I'm going to say in 2015, 16, added the outreach librarian position, we did ask the board to go to a council meeting to support it. So it does come into play not that often. It will next year because we need to add another half-time person in order to meet standards. So I think it is something that happens, but not. We're lucky that it doesn't happen every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remembered when we went to the council meeting
Yes.
as a group. I do remember that, but I didn't remember anything else about obtaining. Instead of saying obtain, because to me that seems like I'm going out and asking for money.
Yeah.
How about ensure?
Yep. And what I think we can do is, so this is DPI's document, but I think that we maybe make our own. I would also like to add, I think, now that I'm reading through it, there isn't anything in here about intellectual freedom. And I think that, or the freedom to read. I don't know exactly how we want to phrase that, but I think that it's important that that be in here as well. So let me ensure, ensure adequate funding, and then I'm going to add somewhere in here. So we have advocate for the library, but maybe we add advocate for the freedom
I
to
was
read.
going to say, would advocate be a good word?
I think so. And anybody have feelings between using the phrase intellectual freedom or freedom to read? What is one of those more accessible?
In academia, ensure intellectual freedom is quite well used.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm
Yeah.
pretty familiar with it, but I'm not
I don't know
sure
if
about the
every-
general public.
Right.
But, I think it's out there enough in the vernacular.
Okay.
That,
I mean, it's easy enough
Be
to
okay.
Google that.
right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So I do like the idea that these documents are available to anybody who is interested
Yes.
in serving
Yes.
as a trustee.
Yep, and we can add them to the library website.
That's
I don't know
just
that
what I
I
was
can
gonna
add them to the city site where the application is, but I can certainly add it to the library site.
Yep. And then,
Okay.
then it's a really easy place to keep them
Yeah.
in. Yep.
Yep.
Terrific.
Okay, excellent. Then, if we're not going to ask people to sign it, then I don't think that we need to pass it. I think this is something that I can just do operationally. Does that sound good with
So to
everyone?
summarize, we're going to have the summary document and the Bill of Rights, or no
think-
Bill of Rights?
I think just the summary document.
Okay.
Really?
We could put a link to the Bill of Rights. When I say advocate for intellectual freedom, that could be a link that would lead.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe we,
Yep.
instead of intellectual freedom, what does that mean? We kind of reference the Library Bill of Rights.
Yep.
Which, maybe that is standard in academia, but I'm not part of academia,
Right.
so I don't really know that I would get that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And then as they update it there also, it will remain up to date. That's great. Thank you.
Before we
Yes?
leave, could we link the trustee job description to this? Because then if someone says, well, what does it mean to hire and supervise the library director? Then
Yes, if
can
you
go,
want more information,
you want more information,
here it
there's
is.
more.
Yep.
Because I like the job description,
Yes. But it is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it can be overwhelming to someone
Yeah.
new, so.
Yeah. Excellent. That's very helpful. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that.
All right. Anything else from anybody? Cool. I guess we don't have to make any motions on that.
No.
All right, moving on to item number, I think it's 7. Yep, 7, President's Report. So thank you, everyone, again, for your support and work on the library board. Regarding our open school representative position, Wendy has helped to identify a candidate, Maria Richards, who is the media specialist at Forest Edge Elementary, and she has so far accepted the position, so I guess we would be expecting her in February.
February. Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for that.
it's exciting, yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that is all I had.
Okay.
So, happy holidays, everyone. Hope you get to enjoy them. All right, so item number 8, Library Director Report.
All right, so starting with statistics, we're getting close to the end of the year here, so we're starting to see kind of where things are going to shake out. It does look like circulation is going to be down about 3% or 10,000 items. I was very dismayed when I saw that, and then I remembered that Oregon opened a brand new pretty library, and we looked into their circ stats, and they're going to be up about 40,000. So that kind of all pans out. I think that they took a big hit when we opened, and so this is all kind of fair play. We will not know for a little bit here how other libraries have fared. We are currently the 7th highest circulating library in South Central, and I don't expect that to change greatly. Oregon had a big jump, but they're a little bit smaller than us, so I don't think that will affect that list. So I will report back on that as soon as I know that. I think that with the door counting software, we're seeing like that attendance is good. A lot of people are coming in and not checking out. We're seeing a lot of, especially this time of year, parents with kids saying like you can have 2 books, but you can't have more than 2 books. I see tons of people walking up with just 1 book, to which I say like, what if it's not good? Don't you need 3 backups? But that's how I read and not how everybody else reads. So I do worry that this is going to affect our Dane County payment. The cross-municipal, cross-township, that's been decreasing for years, and I'm worried that is going to go down. We are still in discussions about maybe putting a floor and a ceiling on that, because there are several libraries that take a lot of money out of the pot. So I will keep you posted on that as well. But that looks like where we're going to end up. I think otherwise we're looking pretty good. I think that attendance at programs is still good. I think summer reading is doing pretty well. So people are just not checking out as much. It'll also be interesting to see where ebooks are. So it is a small fraction of what we check out in print, but it is every year going up. So it may be that we're just seeing that kind of, they're not anywhere close to evening out, but coming close to each other.
Wendy, when you said we're 7th in South Central, out of how many? How many are there?
63?
63.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so certainly Madison Central is always the highest.
Right.
And then a couple of Madison branches, I think Middleton, Verona are generally pretty high.
Is that checkout over population, that percentage?
No. I mean, it shakes out that way because of the size. Like the size of the library is determined by the population, at least in Dane County. So it kind of works that way, but that's not the.
Okay.
It's just the flat number of checkouts. Okay. Yeah. As I mentioned, facilities, our utilities bill is going to be about $14,000 over what we expected. So I think that will be a budget amendment. I'm working with Misty Dodge in the finance department to see how we can handle that. There is money available elsewhere in the budget, but because it's over $5,000, it probably needs to go to council, and it should have gone to council probably this month, but they only have one meeting, and so we missed the opportunity. So working on that. We also, facilities-wise, have a custodian that's out on medical leave through February. We were unable to get anyone that wanted extra hours that's already employed by the city, and we're not successful with getting a contract company to come in. So we are just sort of absorbing it within our own staff. So Kevin is working hard to get his guys around to do bathrooms and floors, and staff are busy adding paper products around the building and whatnot. So we're doing the best that we can. We will be very happy to see him back. Personnel, I don't think we have any updates. I don't think we've had any vacancies. And strategic planning, I'm getting real antsy to start that right in January. So we need to get moving with that. With the second floor redesign, I want that to be part of the strategic plan. I think we also have some decisions to be made about, I think we need to move some money away from AV collections, physical AV collections, into probably digital collections. So I would like that also to be part of the strategic plan. So we will get working on that right away in January. And I think that's everything for my update.
Going back to the budget amendments,
Yeah.
is there like a deadline for these things? Does it have to be done by accounting end of year, or?
That's what I'm waiting to hear back from Misty.
Okay, yeah, because it's like,
I think
oh,
I might be in trouble a little bit here for that. But I have mentioned it previously, so I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. We will see.
So is that Misty's decision? Or
I don't know if it's really her decision so much as she knows how,
how to do it?
what the rules are. Yeah.
Notes.
Wendy,
Mm-hmm.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Quick question about on the strategic plan.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to for the next 5 years overall, in connection to technology and online tech activities, do you see how does that interplay with the space need and the need for facility and things like that? What's your thought, and what have you seen across the country?
Sure.
in
One of the things that with the second floor redesign is that we want to take the technology center and no longer have a technology center. So we're not seeing people want to sit down and use the classroom style. So people are really coming in with their own devices. So we are going to keep public computers because there are people that don't have their own devices, and we want to be able to support that. So we feel like the number of computers we have is correct, but we want to space them out differently so that it's more comfortable for people to use. And then also have more spaces where people can use their own laptop or their own tablet. I think other than that, we've got a 3D printer. It's not heavily used. We've talked about doing a makerspace, which I think was popular for a while. I think that takes a lot of staff time and training. And my hesitation has always been that you're offering expertise in things that we can't really expect people to have. Like we may have one staff that's good at the 3D printer, but I don't think we can expect all of the staff to be good at the 3D printer. So then I don't want to have it on the floor available all the time. So we're thinking about adding some different things. I know Lisa, our digital services librarian, is always thinking about what's out there and what we should be adding. I think right now we're really just seeing that people have their own devices, and we need to they're looking for workspace, I think. After the pandemic, a lot of people are working from home, but they don't necessarily want to work from home, and so they want, like the third space concept of having a place that you can go where you don't have to buy something, you can just be here. I think that's really what we're sort of looking to embrace. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay. Excellent. Any other questions for me? Okay.
Cool. All right, item number 9, announcements. The next library board meeting will be Wednesday, January 15th at 5:30. in a different location. It'll be in City Hall, the Genie
Ceiling
room.
Yes, it's the first room when you walk into City Hall on your left. This is somebody beat me to reserving this room for the third Wednesday because I thought it was October, but it was really December, and I should have been on it. So we're good for the rest of the year, but we're going to have a little field trip to City Hall in January, which is probably good for us anyway.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully the weather's going to be.
Yes, I hope the
nice
weather
to us.
cooperates.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And last item, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.